kind of turns it on its head, right? Like farmers in a corporate, like traditional, large scale food distribution network, farmers are making the least amount of money and all the players that are involved. But because we're a farmer owned cooperative, like our whole point is the business is owned equally by all of the farmers that are involved in it.
Oh, cool.
And so it's like this really like grassroots, autonomous approach to our local food system and puts the power of food distribution into the hands of those who are actually growing it.
Hello and welcome to the CCCNews Podcast. I'm Robin. I'm here with Kiara of the Gorge Farmer Collective. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, cool. So, quick intro. Gorge Farmer Collective is a farmer-owned co-op where you can shop up 35 plus local farms in one place and get it every Wednesday by home delivery in Hood River, White Salmon, Bingen, Underwood, and nearby. You can check the delivery map to see where if you're in the zone or if you have local pickup hubs in Hood River, White Salmon, Mosier, the Dalles, and Lyle. Order Thursday 8 a.m. to Monday 10 a.m. They pack on Wednesday morning and it's on your table the same day. No subscription, just fresh, local food when you want it. Welcome. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little about it?
Yeah, so my name's Kiara Kashubs, and I am the executive director and co-founder of the Gorge Farmer Collective. We are a farmer-owned cooperative that was born out of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020. When, all the restaurants shut down and the farmers market paused for a little bit, a group of farmers got together and did some brainstorming on how they could keep moving their food and providing people with like healthy, nutritious food options in a time when it really mattered. And Gorge Farmer Collective was born out of that. And we started with 5 farms in this online like farmers marketplace, and have since expanded to like several dozen farms in addition to our direct-to-consumer program. We serve restaurants and school districts and work with food banks, and just get local food out to everyone.
That's so cool. It's directly from the farmers into you guys, and then the money goes back to the farmers, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And farmers keep about 80% of what the food is sold for, which, in the grand scheme of food distribution is like kind of turns it on its head, right? Like farmers in a corporate, like traditional, large scale food distribution network, farmers are making the least amount of money and all the players that are involved. But because we're a farmer owned cooperative, like our whole point is the business is owned equally by all of the farmers that are involved in it.
Oh, cool.
And so it's like this really like grassroots, autonomous approach to our local food system and puts the power of food distribution into the hands of those who are actually growing it.
That's so cool. I see also that like when we spend money here in this economy, right, and you send it back to a farmer, that farmer's able to do a thing with it, whether he employs somebody or fixes his truck, that money then is going back into the economy. Mm-hmm. When we do this globalization thing with the food situation, then the money just kind of disappears from the community.
Totally. Yeah. It's really important to us to keep money local in the community. And, like when we are contracting and hiring stuff out as a business, like we're always prioritizing other local businesses too, and like Cisco or Walmart, they don't care. Like it's just the lowest price, you know?
Yeah.
So we're very community forward.
Yeah. And that's so cool because you guys are packing it as well. So you're packing all that food on a Wednesday. So you're really seeing the food that you're then going to meet the consumer with, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not this like disjunction between like the people seeing and packing the food and you picking it up like, what is this? This is, so it's really obviously must be high quality food, it's super fresh, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's all picked to order. And I'll back up a little bit and kind of go through
tell me how it works. Yeah.
So you as a customer would go online to gorgefarmers.com anytime from Thursday 8 a.m. to Monday 10 a.m. is our like ordering period. And you kind of just like, it's like online shopping, right? In a traditional sense, but for local food. So you scroll down, you like click things that you want, you add it to your cart, you check out. And then when ordering closes Monday morning, all of our farmers get a pick ticket automatically emailed to them, which shows like what has already been purchased by customers. So they know exactly what to harvest. And so they're not incurring loss, right? Because
cool.
in other, like a traditional farmer's market, like you can harvest all these things anticipating this sale, and you're like expending your own labor, paying for someone else's labor to harvest and wash and pack things. And then it rains and you don't sell any of it. And then you have to pay someone else to like unbag it and compost it for you.
Right.
And so our packed or harvest to order system is really efficient for farmers, like economically and just like, and it ensures that our customers get the freshest food.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure there's an impact there in soil too, right? It's instead of taking these nutrients that came out of the ground and then composting them somewhere else, right? If they don't get picked, they should compost right where they're at so they can become new fruits and veggies, right? Later on, right?
Just mow it in.
Yeah, just mow it in, right? I mean, it makes sense. And this moving soil around is obviously a big issue we have in our world, right?
Yeah.
And it's something we've got to take care of. Soil's magic stuff.
A lot of our farmers just call themselves soil farmers.
Yeah.
They're like managing the soil through crop production. Without like good soil, then we're dead in the water. We have nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing there, That was when I was a farmhand. I was a dirt farmer as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I worked on a horse farm for a long time. I worked on three separate horse farms. One in the UK, and I was just dealing with drainage and hedges right there. So I planted about 8 miles of hedges at that place. Just thousands of
hedgerows are really important here too.
Yeah, we wanted to put the hedgerows back in for the birds and the other wildlife that lives in the hedgerow. It's so important. And then I've done just lots of feeding of horses and taking care of horses and things like that. And so, but I'm not on the ride. I'm more on the feeding and the hanging outside. Yeah. I'm not riding that much. I like riding, but I just end up working. So that's so fascinating. So you guys deliver people, you do home delivery? Like people, you will bring it to our house?
Okay, so then the farmers harvest everything.
Oh, yeah. So we're back to that. Okay.
Chronological.
Yeah.
The farmers harvest everything. I'm getting there. And then they bring it to our warehouse space where we rent a corner of the Double Mountain brewery warehouse up in the Hood River Heights.
Yeah.
It's like this old fruit packing or fruit storage facility. So it's like acres of cold storage. It's a wild facility.
That's cool.
Yeah. And they're like the largest, like, I don't know how to say it, but they like just sublet a lot of their room out to like small orchardists and different businesses like us. There's like some breweries in there. And so it's like this really key piece of infrastructure that we're so grateful to be able to utilize because we couldn't do it without cold storage.
Yeah, that's an expensive piece of infrastructure for sure, right?
Yeah, and the guys there are just lovely. And, like, would you like some apples you can forklift this pallet for me? And it's like a really fun community up there.
That's cool.
But we like stage our warehouse to receive farmer deliveries, and then they start dropping off Tuesday and then Wednesday morning. And our system actually works where farmers pack their own items into individual customer lugs.
Oh, okay.
Which allows us to keep our overhead low and like then prices down as much as we can. It's local food. It's expensive, but or it's not expensive. You're just paying for everything up front instead of a cheap price tag up front and then paying for all the like externalities of environmental degradation and whatnot later.
Yeah.
And so then once everything's packed up, we load up. We have a truck and a van, and right now we're selling so much that we have to use both on our Wednesday route.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
So the truck kind of goes around. It's this really cute, like 12-foot Isuzu. So it's like the smallest little like box truck, and I love her so much.
That's so cool.
She was pushing like 400,000 miles.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and thankfully one of our farmers is a diesel mechanic.
Okay,
so
that
she's
helps.
well taken care of.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, but the truck kind of goes around to our different pickup sites, which are in Hood River, White Salmon, Lyle, the Dalles, and Mosier. and drops off customer orders that they've ordered for pickup.
Oh, cool.
And then our van route does home deliveries, which is a new program we're really excited about, and drops off at different commercial accounts. Like we work with Romeo Gelato on the waterfront to get some fruit for their gelato, or like
cool.
Free Bridge Brewing buys from us for their like beer dinners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And we work closely with like the Hood River School District, and yeah. Anyways, and so then after those routes are done, then customers start to pick up their orders. Our window's generally 4 to 6, but there can be a little flexibility, but we don't advertise that too much.
Sure. Yeah. Expectation management.
Yeah. Good to keep some boundaries, you know.
Yeah. And go home before dinner time, maybe.
Yeah, totally. So customers start picking up their orders. We run payment, and then we just open up for a new ordering week the next morning.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Do you have seasonal products in there?
Yeah, it's all seasonal.
Okay, cool.
Everything is either like hyper local from the gorge, or we work with some partner farms and like other farmer cooperatives.
Okay.
That I don't think anything's more than 200 miles away.
Okay.
Like, you know, like fish from the ocean.
Yeah. Obviously, it's nice to have fish.
Or like we have some friends that we work with in Bend. This like distribution company called Agricultural Connections.
Okay.
And we work with them closely, where like Bend has really sandy soil and like there's like big open spaces, and so they're really good at growing storage crops like carrots. Love sandy soil, potatoes, and they just have the land for it. That is not the case here.
No, it's very different. Right?
But we're really good at growing tree fruit, and so we kind of have this trade network set up where we send them tree fruit, they send us storage crops. Cool. So there's like some fun partnerships that pop up like that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But for the most part, everything's coming from the gorge, mainly. And so everything is seasonal, you know, and like we'll have some kind of new customers be like, well, what about the bananas? Where are the bananas? And I'm like, well, this is such a cool learning opportunity. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah. Bananas are crazy. You know, it's amazing they get all the way here to the store, and they've not got a single bruise on them. And then I just put my fingers close to them. They just bruise. They're like, they can feel me coming or something, you know.
Yeah. There is a rumor that Azure's growing them in some greenhouses in Duford.
Ooh, okay.
So maybe there'll be local bananas one day.
I love that. That would be so cool. Well, it just sounds awesome, because like if you've tasted the local peaches recently, you'll know why local and seasonal are both the combination that you need to have the most wonderful peach in the whole world, and everything else that you guys have got.
Yeah, well, because just like what you're talking about with the bananas, like a lot of fruit and vegetables, like all food that's coming from far away, is picked underripe, because then it can withstand like getting battered up in transport. Yeah. You know, and like you want underripe bananas or peaches. You like these rock hard peaches, because then they're not going to bruise when they're getting shipped from Georgia. Yeah. You know, and like some like across the country, or like, you know, from some other country. Yeah. So when you buy local food, it's picked ripe. And it's so much more flavorful. It's ready to eat. The farmer's like, you know, watching the tree to know exactly when they need to pick the produce for the best flavor.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it should, I mean, it's crazy that this hasn't already happened, and thank you for taking the initiative to do it, right? It's amazing. Like, we take the fruit and veg and Fred Meyer's and Safeway and what have you just for granted in so many levels, right? And like the amount of transportation and carbon like a dinosaur juice you've got to like burn to bring it over here is insane, right? And like we're flying things over, and it's wild. I've got a British accent, and the British are like, they also the same thing. You go to the store and there's things from Ecuador and there's things from New Zealand, and it's like, this is crazy.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's, you know, we kind of saw that start to collapse, but there was a collapse was threatened during COVID, right? When we saw like this, you know, supply chains just kind of crumbled, and local food really, you know, kind of had a standout moment in that time, because we're not relying on freight trains from wherever, like semi trucks and, borders are closed. Like, we're here to serve our community, and we'll figure out a way to do that no matter what.
Yeah, so cool. I love it. I love it. That's so cool. Well, thanks so much. Well, it's the things we haven't covered yet. Let's actually take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about Gorge Farmer Collective.
Great.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, Robin. How's it going this morning?
Really good. I'd love to tell you how the different ways you can read CCC News and see the great information we've got.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty familiar with the CC News website, of course, and that's our number one kind of hub for getting all the general information free at no cost to folks here in the community, the Columbia Gorge, and that's at CCCnews.com. But what other offerings do we have?
Well, you can read it both in English and Spanish on the website. So if you Spanish is your first language or your second, you could practice your Spanish in there. We also have we call a progressive web app. So it's an app, but it uses Safari or Chrome to use to create an app on your phone. So it's not actually a bunch of software, and it keeps your data safe by default as well. So you can find the link for that on our homepage.
Excellent. Yeah. And I know you're really proud of our podcast. Tell folks how they can get our podcast.
Yeah. So we post our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. And so whatever your platform, if it's one of those four things, hit the subscribe and hit the notifications, because when we put podcasts up, you'll be notified that we've got something new to watch.
Yeah. And what if I just want to get some news every Saturday and Sunday or something, and I don't want to go to all that hassle?
This is a really good question. Obviously, we don't want to bombard people with way too many emails, but we have a once-a-week roundup with all the greatest things that happen in the week, all the most interesting stories, and we send that out on Saturday because we just want Saturday comes out first thing Saturday morning, and so you get that roundup of what's going on in your community in the week. And people really like that. We also have one on Sunday. We really want to support the nonprofits and the other kind of not-for-profit type organizations in our community. And so all the stuff that we write about them in the week, we post on Sunday in there too. So if you're into community philanthropy and community itself, it's a really good newsletter just for that little piece.
And it's super easy. You just go to the website. There's a location there that you can just put your email address in, and you're going to be signed up, and you'll start receiving it.
Absolutely. And it's all free, absolutely 100% free. And if you do want to support us and subscribe, you're welcome to, but we don't offer the subscribers any more than the free users, because news is the most valuable when we're all reading it. And once we have a really good perspective of what's going on, then we can have a good discussion.
And what if I just kind of like visual media? Does CCC News do anything for visual media?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. So the journalists are constantly putting podcasts, but also little videos and little quips up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to see it in 3 dimensions and see that kind of video side of things, then the YouTube channel is also a good place. Hit subscribe and hit the notification there so you'll be aware, because we put things like fire up there, and when we're dealing with emergency management, we're putting that stuff up there too.
Very good.
Great.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of different ways to get CCC News.
Great question, Tom. Thanks so much for asking.
You bet.
Welcome back to our podcast with Gorge Farmer Collective. Moving on, let's talk about food security and dovetail into stabilizing farms, like income security as well. So Adventist Health named food security among one of the top regional needs. So did Providence, and so did Columbia Gorge Health Council. So the research that they're doing is showing that we have a very serious food insecurity issue in here in the Gorge. Food is expensive. I mean, like, if you've lived on this planet for the last 6 months, you'll recognize that food is expensive. And we're not alone here in this region, right? Like, this is a regional, national problem of food pricing. And having delivery is a big thing, right? Having food banks is a big thing, and having farmer collectives like this is a big thing. And especially when we have issues like COVID happen, it's so hard to build these networks just from scratch, as you guys figured out, right? Like, it's so hard to just oh, cool, we'll just get the farmers and we'll get the people, we'll just put them all together. Let's go, right? It takes time, right, to build these things. And if we want food security, right, we have to build secure networks, right, that are resilient. Right?
Yeah, it takes time, and it takes a lot of trust.
Yeah.
And I think, we learn things every year and like grow and adapt to what the needs are of like both our farmers and our community. And I don't know, it's like looking back, it's been such an interesting journey because I've been doing this for like 6 years now. And it's been really magical to see like, you know, farmers a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time start farming from this kind of like rugged individualist perspective, you know, and it's like, it's a job where you don't have to talk to that many people and it's like you and the plants. And so it draws like this really unique personality sometimes that you wouldn't always think like wants to like work together with other people. Like farming in America is this, like rugged individualist kind of thing.
And the bootstraps.
Totally. And so we, like all of our farms, I think I'm really proud of everyone that I work with because we really practice working together and supporting each other and knowing that we aren't each other's competition. It's us versus, you know, the large import, like corporate.
It's us versus Walmart.
Distribution.
And Albertsons and
and just recognizing that like we're stronger together.
I was surprised to hear when I was talking to Bickford, Steve Bickford, who owns he has a Century Farm and owns Mounthood Winery, and they have lots of apples and pears, I think, up there too. And when I was talking to him, he's like, well, there's only 3 people in the world that buy apples and pears. I'm like, sorry, Steve, can you say that again for me? And he's like, yeah, there's only 3 people. It's Stadelman's and like 2 others. And then they all do the distribution to like everything. You know, there's like one organization or 3 that buying apples and pears, which if you're a farmer, like what choice do you have? And if they tell you the price is the price, like that's the price, you know? And then I go up to Evans Fruit and, you know, and I hang out with them and they're like, oh, it doesn't make any sense to pick the fruit this year. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I want to eat it. Will you pick it for me? And there's the economy of it doesn't make any sense to them. Or it makes perfect sense to them, but it doesn't make sense to pick. Excuse me.
Yeah, because
in some instances.
the corporate distribution companies are controlling the farmers instead of the other way around. And so that's like what we're trying to do is kind of turn that model on its head where distribution is owned and controlled by those who are growing the food. You know, and like I said earlier, like farmers keep the majority of the cost of goods, the sale of the food that we're making, which is really rare in the grand scheme of like corporate distribution. Like farmers are making pennies on the dollar for what the food's selling for. And you know, people tell you what your price is, and we don't do that. You know, we'll share kind of some market analysis of what things are going for where, just as like an informational, like educational tool for farmers to set their own prices. But they set their own prices because they know what their labor and their inputs are worth, what they have to make to survive. And then it's our job to sell that. And when you have simpler systems, they're not as vulnerable to these types of like big market economy people in suits telling us how much we're worth, you know? Because they're just close, like they're just more controllable, you know? And like when there's lots of fruit, like for instance, when lots of cherries come out of California, the price of the cherries here goes down because there's just lots of cherries on the market, you know? But the people here are buying the same amount of cherries, probably. Like locally, we're probably eating the same amount of cherries, right? You know, or similar, within 10%, right? And so some of the cherries are obviously leaving for the export market, and obviously all the cherry farmers are going to tell me it's much more complicated than that, and I'm obviously simplifying it by about 1,000%. I've been learning so much about fruit this year from a couple orchardists we work with, and it blows my mind. It's like it's a totally different beast than kind of this like small farm local food sales that we're working with. So it is more complicated. And it's like the big fruit economy here, like people make their livelihoods off of that, you know. But it's also like being sold out of our community, and so I don't like how much of that dollar is lost to go other places, you know. How much of the dollar was lost, like that's really the thing, you know. And a dollar spent, according to our research here, a dollar spent on local food generates $1.50 to $2.60 in local economic activity, because the money recirculates through farm wages, local trucking, equipment, and service businesses.
around this, like Gorge Farmer Collective.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you rather you spend your dollar? It means you're going to spend the dollar anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Would you not rather spend it in the right place?
Yeah.
It makes
sure.
It makes much more sense.
Yeah. But, and I think like as far as farm like economic viability and whatnot goes, something we're really, really proud to do is we pay our farmers weekly by bank transfer.
Cool.
So we keep their cash flow like churning really regularly.
That's great.
And because we're handling the sales of all of these farms, like collectively we have the cash flow to do that and to float, X amount of money for, because like, let's say we'll sell like 5,000 pounds of pears into a school in Portland. That school is not going to pay us back for another like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And because of our structure, we can float that while paying our farmers for their product immediately because they've already expended, like labor and
for months and months and months. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we are not using our farmers to float our expenses, and a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm really proud of.
That's so cool. Stabilizing farm income is such a big piece in this, right? Really that smooth cash flow helps so many businesses, right? I mean, I'm a business owner. It's not about saving money, it's about flowing money, right?
Yeah.
It's about like having money coming in and then going out, right?
Yeah.
And paying your bills and like paying your staff.
And like there's no like more frustrating waste of time than trying to hunt down unpaid invoices. Oh my gosh.
It's painful.
Yeah, and like people like farmers are farming. They got into the business to grow food, not to be a bookkeeper. Yeah. Not to be a delivery driver or like a marketing like guru. And so we kind of collectively, all of our farmers are collectively pooling their resources to have a lot of that administrative burden taken care of by one person, which is me.
Yay.
In our team.
That's cool.
So, and it makes so much sense because like why do 5, 10, 15 farmers need to be delivering to one restaurant? And it's like that's so duplicative. Like just send it through us.
The restaurant doesn't want 10 deliveries, they want one. Pay one invoice and all that
it's a lot easier.
And especially as things get more complicated. You mentioned marketing, right? I'm a marketing professional and people employ me because the situation is constantly changing for them, right? And you probably have the same thing. Like the platforms are changing, the way that we put budgets and the way that we do messaging is changing like constantly. And so imagine if you're farming, you're out there farming too, and like being a farmer and doing the thing and the excavation. What's a reel? Like now, what you're talking about? What am I supposed to make a video of a tractor? What? Like it's hard work, like for sure. And so, good on you doing some of that hard work for them. That's that's
they're
hard work.
doing enough. Growing food that's so important. There's
and they can still do more. You're not stopping them from doing anything, right? They can still do more stuff.
But they shouldn't have to.
No, you should be able to. If we stabilize the farm incomes and they become stable, and then they can do more, right?
Yeah.
And then they can focus less on surviving and more on thriving.
Yeah, and it's not like, it's this third party, like, predatory, like, we're going to help you as a farmer. It's like, no, they own this business. So it is them helping themselves, and like, and so just the whole cooperative model is like really important in that trust and like community building and it's like it's for farmers by farmers.
That's so cool. And as millennials really want to buy it online, so thank you. I love it.
It's so much fun.
It's so good.
I'm a really good customer of the Gorge Farmer Collective.
I'm going right after this. It's Thursday, but I'm going to go back get some of next week. This is exciting. I love this. So you can use promo code CCCN for 20% off your first order. So if you're looking like me, if you're thinking about buying some wonderful fresh food from some wonderful fresh farmers, go ahead to what's the domain?
GorgeFarmers.com.
And put a bunch of delicious things in your cart and then use CCCN, that's 3 C's, and then for 20% off your first order. Set yourself up for delivery or pickup, and that happens on Wednesdays. So
every Wednesday, year-round.
So exciting. Amazing. We're recording this on a Thursday, so I'm sad that we've got 6 days to wait. But
you can start shopping.
I'm going to be shopping, don't you worry. I'm definitely going to be shopping. This is great stuff. What's the last thing, as we kind of close up, what the last thing some people got to know about this and how to get involved?
Man, we didn't really talk about food access that much yet.
Oh, tell me about food access.
Yeah. So kind of, right, like I think a lot of people know us because of like home delivery and local pickup. And like a little bit working with restaurants, but then there's this whole other kind of half of programming that we do that revolves around food access and community food security. And we're really proud to partner with several food banks in the area, Washington Gorge Action Programs and Bingen, and the Columbia Gorge Food Bank in the Dalles.
Cool.
And we work with them to supply them and like the pantries and the clients that they work with fresh local food grown with love.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And just, yeah, everyone deserves the best of the best. And especially people facing hard times, like deserve that extra bit of oomph of like beautiful local food. So yeah, we're really proud to work with partners like that. And what else? We also run several Veggie RX programs, it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, which is something we started with our friends, Gorge Grown Food Network, which is a kind of a sister nonprofit organization that does like local food community building from like a nonprofit standpoint.
Yeah.
And we work with them really closely on a lot of different programs, but we started like contracting with them to supply fresh food to different populations that are experiencing like diabetes, or we work with like the oncology department at Providence Hospital to supply cancer patients with fresh fruits and vegetables. And it's basically this program where your doctor prescribes you fresh fruits and vegetables as a preventative medicine. And so we love doing that. We're packing lots of boxes of really nutritious, nutrient dense food that goes out to people who really need it.
That's so cool. Yeah, you can ask your doctor if you need more fruit and veggies in your life. You can ask your doctor for Veggie RX, right? And if you're in the gorge and things, you can. Some people can get it.
Yeah, we're working. It's Providence Oncology, Skyline Hospital. We're piloting a new program with them.
Right.
And another one through Pacific Source, which is the like OHP distributor of like Hood River and Wasco County, and that's in partnership with One Community Health and Bridges to Health.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah. So it's like super collaborative.
Yeah, and so important, right? You know, if you like, there are so many ingredients in the food that ultra processed food that you can buy that are really not very good for you, and many of them have shown in research to cause some cancers and some other kind of ailments. And fresh fruit and veg is a really, really good way to detox your system, to give yourself and your body more nutrients to be able to fight whatever you're fighting.
Yeah, and like even beyond that, it's just like being held by your community, you know, and like you're cared for. You're getting fresh peaches and fresh corn, and I think it's so important. I don't know. It's so important.
It's so important. It's so important to also, you know, the premise of being prescribed a good diet is also really important. Right? Like the whole premise is really important, and you can't do that. You can't prescribe somebody a good diet unless you've got a way of providing them a good diet. So it takes you to do the other thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it takes you to do the prescription thing. So thank you. That's probably the best prescription they can probably give, right? It's probably cheaper than every other one as well for the taxpayer and for themselves, right? You know, it's super better. So thank you so much for coming and chatting with us about this. This is awesome. I can't wait to go buy a box of food. Again, if you are on there and you are choosing your most wonderful meals for next week, use promo code CCCN and you get 20% off, which is what a great deal. And you get, if you spend $150, you get free delivery. That's great. I never get out of the store for less than $150. I wish I did. And I got like one basket of food and they're like $156. I'm like, damn it.
Could have had it delivered and grown locally.
Could have had it delivered and local. Yeah. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.